Every good training session needs the right motivation, and that's where Pupford training treats shine. They're tiny, healthy, and packed with flavor, so your pup will stay focused without filling up. Each bag contains over 450 treats, which means more repetitions, faster progress, and a whole lot more fun. And here's the best part. If you order through the link in the description, 100% of the commissions go straight to Dogs Anonymous, a nonprofit supporting pups and people who need it the most. So you get treats that make training easier, your dog gets the skills they need, and together we get to support a wonderful cause. Grab your bag of Pupford training treats today through the link in our show notes. Welcome to unPACKed, an open-minded podcast taking a clinical, not political approach to helping pet parents around the world. I'm Sailor Jerri, certified dog trainer, virtual dog training revolutionary, owner of Tulsa Pack Athletics, and creator of the open-minded approach.
And I'm Mattison, her friend, certified dog trainer and behavior consultant. Together, we have nearly 3 decades of experience in behavioral dog training.
We've been working with real dogs and the humans who love them to create solutions to problematic behaviors that feel too big for them to tackle on their own.
In this special 2-part event, we're digging into something a little more personal. 3 years and 12 cases later, we're finally ready to unpack the humans behind the podcast. And since nothing is off limits when the two of us are together, you can expect to see both our sentimental and our silly sides. If you've ever wondered, just who are Jerri and Mattison? Settle in with us and unpack.
Hello, everybody. We are back with another unusual episode because what's good for the goose is good for the gander. So if I have to be asked a bunch of questions, and when I say have to, I really mean get to. Don't I, Mattison? She is going to answer some questions today, and I wrote these. I didn't even consider what the audience might want to hear. This is all about me and what I want to hear out of Mattison, but I think I did a pretty good job. I think you guys will be happy with the questions that I have. And so I want to play a little game with Mattison. There are 16 questions here. And so she's going to popcorn these numbers. She's going to pick a number. I'm going to ask the question, and we're going to see what kind of glitter bombs go off during this conversation.
Did you do popcorn reading in school where like you had to read some and then at the end you like popcorn and then you called popcorn Kevin and then Kevin had to read?
Absolutely. And I always wanted to be called because I am an incredible reader and I want to set the stage for people. I want to do the voices. I want to add the passion. It never embarrassed me to do that. And it embarrasses some kids when you're that age and you don't want to be called on for popcorn. Maybe you're not a strong reader out loud. It's one of those things that's maybe it's a little bit like dodgeball. You're afraid of getting hit in the face.
It's not for everyone.
Yeah. So hopefully this is a little bit more pleasant. So let's get started.
Dodgeball? Yes, I hope so.
Yeah, I think it'll be more pleasant than dodgeball, but a little under maybe sniffing roses. We'll see.
Okay, I can deal with that.
Like, what's your first number choice?
Let's go with 3.
3.
Uh-oh.
I thought you might pick that first. It's what we were talking about before the podcast started.
Perfect.
Which parent had more of an impact on your relationship with dogs? Madison's dad is like her best friend, you guys. So let me just...
He is, which is why the answer might surprise you that it's for sure my mom.
Do tell.
I think that this probably, when I was younger, had more to do with our family dog. My dad worked a lot and my mom worked part-time, but she was also home a lot more. And it was really often her responsibility, from what I observed, to be caring for the dogs during the day. I say dogs, we only had one at a time. We had a golden retriever. She was our dog when I was born. She passed away when I was about 5. Her name was Charity, and her litter was Peace, Love, and Charity.
That's adorable.
And they kept the name, and she was just the best dog, just a wonderful family dog.
Yeah, Goldens are great.
Oh, she was lovely. And then really the other big dog influence, because for me, it's about the specific dogs from my past. The way that my dad would tell this story is I suckered my mom into getting our next dog, who was a Chinese crested powder puff.
So for people that don't know, Chinese cresteds are those little dogs that look like they're naked, but they also have a terrible wig on from like the Halloween store. those
They
dogs, but they
frequently
come,
win the ugliest dog
yes,
competition.
especially when they get old. But they also come in what's called powder puff, where they have fur all over their body. And that is your ultra dog nerd fact for the day.
I will meet your dog nerd fact with another one, which is that the gene that causes them to be hairless also causes them to lose teeth, which is why the ones that win the ugly dog competitions typically have a tongue hanging out because there's not enough teeth to hold it in. We kept her hair pretty short, so she would often get mistaken for Japanese, is what she looked like. Cute, long legs. And she was really my mom's dog. And I think that's where that comes from. But even to this day, my mom is so passionate about dogs and animals. She's the one that's
Oh, I
really
love that.
volunteering with rescues and things like that. She's fostered. She fostered while I was in college, she fostered. And yeah, it's something that she's just really passionate about. And so I would say that definitely influenced my love for dogs. And I'm sure it wouldn't be what it is without that, because I don't know that we would have had another dog after Charity had it not been for me suckering my mom into it, which, like, yeah, I did. I was 16.
I mean, you were successful.
She was a
Okay.
cute little dog. It didn't take much.
What's your next pick?
Let's go all the way to 16.
16. I think that this question might need some context, so let's save that one. So pick
Okay.
another one. What did you say?
Let's do 14.
That was perfect. That was the question I needed you
Is
to.
this the context?
Yeah. What did being incarcerated teach you about people?
Oh, yeah, let me take a minute. A lot.
A shit ton. Yeah. Wow. I always tell people that the strip club taught me a whole lot about people. It taught me about men. It taught me about women. The places that we would consider to be the undergrounds of society, the dark alleys of society, those things exist inside of all human beings. And if you're not privy to them, it's much easier to be abused by those people and by the things
Yeah.
that they do. So that's my 2 cents on what did it teach you? A lot. She's right.
I think it's probably important to say that a lot of people, while they're incarcerated, are at their lowest. They're at their most desperate. They're at their most vulnerable, but they're also, at least in the circles that I surrounded myself with, because that was a really intentional choice, in a state of mind to be working on themselves. And that's a really interesting kind of culture to be in. I think there's also a lot in the power dynamics with those in positions of authority when that goes to the extreme. When you actually lose full agency to other humans, there's something really complicated in that dynamic that, back to your question, I feel like I got to see the absolute best and the absolute worst that humanity has to offer.
Ooh, that's right.
I
Yeah.
saw such hope and love, which you would not ever expect to see in such a bleak circumstance. And I also saw some horrible and evil things, and I was physically terrified for my safety. And that's just the honest truth, the honest reality of being incarcerated.
It's like a particular thing that happens in life that you don't ever want it to happen, but when it does, it becomes one of the most important foundational things about you. And it produces this very particular emotion that doesn't really exist anywhere else. Like, it's bittersweet. It's like horrible, but it made you who you are. And without it, you don't have reference. You can't have nothing to compare to. That's what I think is going on with a lot of people, especially in the dog world. People make a big fat fuss about something, and I'm like, I know what's going on with you. You've never had a dark night of the soul. Obviously not, because that
Haven't
wouldn't
yet.
matter to you. Yeah, you haven't yet. Hopefully you get to, but that wouldn't matter to you. That would not matter to you. You wouldn't have even picked up on that was annoying, because for frame of reference,
Oh, let me frame or summarize that up with what punishments in life are not gifts.
Oh, yeah. I think that my answer to that would be controversial.
I'm just
I,
saying that on the darkest night, you can still find light. You can still find
yeah.
love.
And the bigger thing to that is if you can, every punishment is a gift. And I don't think a lot of people want to hear that. They'll go into things about, and probably valid, but they'll go into things about how they were assaulted as a child, and they're like, so you're saying that's a gift? And it's no, I'm just telling you what I think. I'm just telling you my experience and the experience of my friends that have shared at a deep level what they went through. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I've had some really effed up shit happen to me. And I can tell you that ultimately it was all a gift. I don't always like all the gifts that I get, but a gift
No,
nonetheless.
and they're not always easy.
Yeah,
But
that's true.
but
So
if you love the person you are
yeah,
today, then I think there has to be an acceptance
Yeah.
of the whole past. And I'm still working on it. Still a work in progress over here.
you know, all the things that make us are not sugar, spice, and everything nice, like we were told. Okay, so that it does. It segues into 16. What has it been like to reintegrate to society, and what made you successful?
Would you believe me if I said it was harder than integrating into prison?
Yes, I would
It
believe you.
was one of the most difficult times of my life, second only to maybe when I was on house arrest.
House arrest was rough.
That was very dark.
Rough on you. I just can tell by the way you talk about it.
I don't remember a lot of it.
Yeah.
There's 3 months that are just missing, and that's
Yeah. Sometimes the mind is kind to us in that way. I have
yeah.
3 or 4 months that are totally blocked from my alcoholism. And I know a lot of that was blackouts, but a lot of it wasn't. And I just don't remember. So we can all conceptualize that it was the hardest thing that you've ever done. But what I want to kind of key in on, what do you think made you successful? Because there's a lot of people out there that they are trying to transition in some way, and they need those like simple, actionable steps or tips.
I was very fortunate, and I'm still very fortunate to have an incredible support system. My parents took me in. I have a wonderful family. My, at the time, fiance, now husband, was really a huge part of that as well. It's hard to say what made me successful, because when I look back on that time, I wish for more time. I wish I had more time to ease myself into it, because, and also, I was released in the pandemic. So things were really fucking weird because
Bro,
I
you
was
had so many
released.
plants.
I
Like
had
you
so
guys,
many plans.
she had 80 plants. I was like,
It was too many plans.
what's going on with that? She was
I was
like,
propagating.
these are my emotional support plants. I'm like, okay. It was
I
awesome though. It was like, what a great way to
create something, and
Yeah, at least you were
yeah,
trying to love something.
I was released from a lockdown situation into a different type of lockdown situation, and then now living with
So
my parents.
crazy.
And I couldn't really go anywhere for fear of bringing anything home to them. And that just really added into things. So honestly, what made me be the most successful and the turning point from when I went from feral to somewhat back to a domesticated human, to where I could actually function in society, because I was not functioning like appropriately or properly at first, was when I finally got to the point that I could have my own living space. Because I had been so affected by the constant supervision and lack of privacy.
That would
for 5
really
years
affect me. The constant supervision and lack of privacy, I would lose it.
You would lose it.
I can't, like, I'm an only child. I can't. And it's such a profound disruption on a life when the person isn't designed to handle that.
I was designed to tolerate it at the expense of my nervous system.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people would know that as extreme masking. A lot of people could connect
I had to
on
be
that level.
fully 100% masked as a neurodivergent individual the entire time I was incarcerated, because it was unsafe to be
It was
seen.
unsafe. Yeah, for sure. I could see that. I
also had to emotionally mask. And you and I have talked a lot about this literally just now, like last week, tapping back into my emotions, because for years they have been shut off. Every time I start to cry and get emotional, the tears get sucked right back in and it shuts down, because again, it just wasn't safe to be seen in that way for a long time.
Yeah, man, I've had the opposite experience. I'm a huge crier. I don't cry when I get sad generally, but I'll cry now. I'll cry over gratitude. I'll cry out of frustration. I'll cry when I'm overwhelmed, those kinds of things. So
it doesn't mean I don't get emotional though.
Yeah.
I feel big emotions, and actually that's why I miss crying, because it's a really healthy way to process through the really big emotions. And
exactly, that's why I do it.
Yeah.
I had a situation where I wasn't in I mean, I certainly was in scenarios where crying would have been discouraged, but my mom always, I wasn't discouraged from crying. And then when I was in situations where that wasn't helpful, there wasn't anything emotional that would make me want to cry. I get that. A lot of crying is dogs liking children or not liking children. It's like some of them really do, some of them really don't. Some of them don't. They're in the middle. Some of them a little bit sometimes, but not at this other time. It's just different for every person. Okay, let's see. Pick a number.
7.
What are you most afraid of? You just said it a second ago.
I did. And this is also, I would say, changed. Like how I would respond to this has changed, because previously I probably would have said like snakes have been a really big fear for me for a really long time. But I think if I'm being very honest, I am afraid to be seen as I really am in an authentic way. That's hard for me to.
What do you think will happen? What, you think people aren't going to like you anymore? You think nobody's going to want to be your friend? You think they're going to talk behind your back? These are the things this is what we do as humans. We're like, I bet they're gonna.
I've had it happen before where I feel like I get close to somebody and then I show them maybe my quirkier side or my weirder side or my darker side, and then they leave. So that's hard. And it's something, again, I'm still working through.
Well, yeah, we were talking about that privately not that long ago. You were like, I don't know. You're my only friend that like never left me.
I just
I
feel
remember you
really
said something to that
secure
effect.
in
Yeah.
our friendship. I do.
Yep.
And I have a couple of other friends that I have had for a long time, but there is something about the nature of our relationship that you can't unring this bell.
Yeah. You can unring this bell. You're welcome, everyone. So I was watching something this morning. It was a little old couple. They were talking about love. It was precious. It just was precious. They were talking about their love for each other and their marriage and everything. And they asked for, the person interviewing them said, what sticks out from your vows? Because they were laughing about how they they need to renew them because they don't even remember what they said. But they were like in their 80s. It was just so cute. And they were clearly very in love as friends, as husband and wife. And the woman said, over all the years, what has stood out to me about our vows was this one: may our home always be a place where people feel like they can be themselves. And I was like, instantly cried. And that's my greatest wish, is that people always feel that they can be themselves around me, come hell or high water. Lay it on
I
me.
want that. So I need to start showing up that way. So I'm working on it. I'm working on being my extra weird self.
Good. We need more weirdos and wieners out there in the world. Okay, pick another number.
We're going to go 6.
6. What was the thing you believe you needed to change the most about your dog training to something more compassionate than you were first taught?
My need to control.
That's
Absolutely.
simple.
And that was a through line in my life of just needing to control. And it, I think, got worse right after I was released from prison, when I had no control.
Oh, I can imagine. Yeah.
I was like, it became to the extreme. And so, that's something that I've been working on for a long time, probably a lifelong study, the study of surrendering and letting go of that control. But I can tell you right now, both my dog training and how I respond to things in my life has shifted drastically in the last several years.
I think. Okay, give me another number.
1, top of the list.
Top of the list, top of the charts. What is something you want people to know about you that most people don't know? If you could put it on your sleeve and wear it around so that everybody knows, what would it be? I think I know what it would be, but I'm not in your brain. I don't know what.
Yeah, this is harder than I thought it would be. I think in a very general sense, it would be what I consider to be like my creative side and my artistic side, and like the other piece of me that really I don't think gets to show in my training.
Rifle tossing.
Yeah, so like my color guard stuff, I love to
It's
paint.
amazing.
Other ways in which I express myself, in which I just don't really or haven't figured out a way to share.
That's what I thought it was too. I wouldn't have worded it like that, but the other side of you, the artsy side, of you. Okay, I like that. What's another number?
All right, let's do 9.
Who is your biggest supporter?
My husband, for sure.
Mark.
And I
He's great.
recently on
He's
a
a
different
sweetie.
podcast mentioned how I don't talk about him a lot, and it's for sure not for lack of love, but he's a very private person, and I totally respect that. And social media is so unimportant to him that tagging him twice a year on his birthday and on our anniversary is like perfect. But the truth is, he's my rock and my best friend and my everything. And we've been in love for over 10 years. And the recent discovery, which is who's ready for goosebumps, which is that, so I am Welsh. My great grandmother came here from Wales. That is where I studied abroad when I met my husband. That's how we met. And the day that we got married, which was December 21st, 2021, on the solstice, we found out recently in the past couple of months, that is 100 years to the day that my Welsh great grandmother landed on Ellis Island, to the day.
Oh my God.
So
It's
12, 21, 21.
It's a love
and
story.
12, 21, 21.
That's crazy. Like, I knew this, you guys, because she told me, but still, like, when she says it, I'm like, the statistical probability of that is incredibly low. Like, the likelihood of that just being like just random coincidences, just so whatever. Wow.
I would say near impossible.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I
here
think
we are.
that, yeah, I think that you're getting to the near impossibility for sure. Okay, I'm going to ask you the next one because it goes so
Okay.
well, and it's also the next in the number order. So it's number 10.
Perfect.
Who is your arch nemesis?
Whoa.
I got about 4, 5, 6, 7 of them hoes.
Oh, the most recent one is my neighbor and his stupid truck and
Ooh.
where he parks it. And it drives me so banana sandwich. I can't even. So he drives an enormous pickup truck and he pulls so far forward into the space. I'm going to text you a picture later and you're going to be like,
I'd like to see that.
it covers 90% of the sidewalk.
I think
So
you
the
should link
sidewalk
a
is
picture in the
fully
description
obstructed.
of this episode so that we can all join together.
That's my least favorite, is when he parks there. But then there's another spot that I also hate that he parks in. And these happen to be the two best spots where it is technically then obstructing somebody's front yard, which is not very big. And if it were me, which it's not, like, this is an arch nemesis where it is so petty and is so stupid for me to be so mad about this.
So stupid.
But every single time that I'm like, it just, but it's like totally, by the way, in my head, my neighbor probably has no idea that I exist, as it should
Yeah,
be.
he's just like going about
This is my
his big truck
delusional arch
life.
nemesis.
His big truck life. Okay, so pick another number. 2. What is something Remy knows about you that no one else probably notices or knows? Remy is her dog, and
My
he's a
doggy.
little sweetie.
He's frequently present for things that would typically be solitary in terms of like my spiritual stuff. So he's there a lot when I'm meditating, when I'm doing mantra work, when I'm doing things, provided I don't think that the energy of what I'm doing would like negatively. He's normally asleep in the corner, totally fine. And he's there and a part of the spiritual journey that I'm on. So it's actually something that I get to share with him that would feel weird for me to include any human in my like daily spiritual practices.
I like that answer. I'd say the same thing about Enzo. Enzo knows about me. Same. Okay, pick another number.
11.
11. What do you want to say to the balance training community? If you had something that you could let them know or you wanted to impart, what would that be?
What I think probably what I would share is the statement that was the most impactful to me when I was really practicing as a balance trainer, not because I feel the need to shift or change anyone or everyone's training approach, but just because it was, you know how sometimes somebody says a phrase and it literally worms its way into your brain and never leaves? It's one of those, and it has informed and changed a lot of things in my life for the better. So I have a lot of gratitude towards this phrase. So I want to both credit the person that said it to me and also acknowledge that I don't believe that it was originally hers. I believe that it belongs to somebody else. So I want to just put that out there. But her name's Kendall Calloway. She is one of my dear friends. She officiated me and Mark's wedding. You may not know that. She's a dog trainer, and she was actually at the time my apprentice. So and I've said this before, to stand up to somebody when you are technically in this sort of dynamic where you are meant to be learning from them or working with them, to stand up to somebody in that type of setting, I think takes the most courage, a special type of courage. And I'm just so forever grateful for her for calling me out on something in in a moment, outside of a moment, in an appropriate way. And so what she said to me was that efficiency isn't everything, because that was my argument and justification for why I was doing what I was doing. And it was just using pressure in a particular way to teach place that today I would say is totally unnecessary. And efficiency isn't everything. I have always prized efficiency as one of the top things. And so I think that was an important perspective shift, to know that sometimes slow is better. Sometimes you got to slow down to be able to see the whole picture. And that is outside of dog training, right? Efficiency isn't everything. Okay, the fastest way from point A to point B is possibly not the best route. And for me, I tend to rush when I'm, physically trying to do something and get out the door and do this and do that, and things get missed, right? So like efficiency isn't everything. And through the lens of dog training, I now see myself as the alternative. I am not saying to anybody, I'm going to get you from point A to point B the fastest way possible, because I think other things matter than speed and efficiency. I think that efficiency does matter, especially considering lack of efficiency can create frustration, which is wildly aversive, right? All of that. I'm not saying that we need to take all the time in the world to do things. And there is a benefit to making progress, but efficiency isn't everything. Changed my entire training and lots of things in my life. And if that resonates with somebody else, great. And if not, that's fine too.
Okay, let's do the next one, 12. What do you want to say to the positive reinforcement community, or what would be known as the force-free community?
I would want to talk about idealism versus being a realist, and what I think gets left out that creates that frustration that I mentioned, which I think is a result of stagnation, which I don't, and I'm glad that you asked this as a follow-up, because I don't believe in throwing efficiency out the window and accepting stagnation. That's not appropriate either.
Wow, what you say to him is a lot nicer than what I would have said. I would have said, I'd like to talk to the positive reinforcement community about the modern white woman archetype, is what I would have said. And about this, I'm going to take this time right now to say that we are going to make an episode on that, because it's something Mattison and I have been talking about for a very long time. It exists in abundance in that community and in lots of other places in our country and in the West in general. And I think it's something that needs to be broken down for people and talked about a little bit more, because this thought that whatever my feelings and ideology are the best, and that
Are the best
I
for
will choose
everyone.
are the best for everyone, and that I will choose the things from science that I like and only the things that I like to justify not only my beliefs, but the way that I treat people poorly. That's called something, y'all. And it's real specific, and it's not just in dog training. It's a way of behaving. It's a particular way of behaving, and there's so many different facets to it that it's something that her and I have been discussing.
We
And
talk
I
about
think,
it all the time.
yeah, we talk about it all the time, and I think we can talk to some people about it and help break some things down and see what we can't change in our own communities so that we can be more effective.
I think it's a topic that people are going to have a lot of questions about. So I want to make sure that we have an avenue to be
Oh, they're
able
going to
to
have more than
take those questions. But I'm not talking
Yeah,
about
they're-
that.
yeah,
I'm talking
yeah,
about
for
the
sure.
questions that we're like, oh, actually, like we do need to dig into this
Yeah.
and explain this. So I don't know if this will be a series of episodes with follow-ups, or maybe we'll do something interactive.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
But we just
do
dipped
want to
we
have,
dipped your toes in the pool. There we
yeah,
go.
it's
Now
there.
come in. The water is nice.
Let's do 15.
When I asked what did being incarcerated teach you about people, the next one is, what did it teach you about dogs?
My entire
The
foundational
look on her
education.
face, the look on her face, by the way, the specific look on her face was, and it was pleasant, but I could write an entire dissertation on this.
It could
Yeah.
literally fill books.
Yeah. So please continue.
So I had a foundational curriculum that I worked my way through that was a 10-week immersive curriculum with exams, learning about everything from nutrition and first aid to anatomy and physiology and genetics. It was really deep and really cool. And then there was ongoing education for the entire time that I was really in these programs. And I gobbled up book after book, because that was also required to be actively reading, but I loved to read and I couldn't get enough. And then there was also the observational work and experiential work of working around a really high volume of dogs and a really high volume of dog handlers in what I think is a really cool setting, because you have more people than dogs, which is uncommon, I would say, in a lot of other settings out here where you end up with a lot more dogs than people. And so I just think it created a really conducive environment to learn and to be so immersed. You got to think about too, we were having dogs boarded in our cells. That's 24/7 type stuff. And at the end there, when I was getting ready to, we're going to call it retire, because I stepped back from the dog program as I was getting ready to leave the institution. There was 1 month, I remember, I had a dog 29 out of 31 days in that month, and like 16 or 19 of those days were overnight, 24-hour shifts where you are on 24 hours a day.
You're
It
like
was
a
lot.
dog au pair.
I was actually thinking recently about a dog that I haven't mentioned on any interviews that I've done or really anywhere. And this is a dog that we called him Little Hunter, because there was also Big Hunter, which was literally the biggest golden retriever I've ever met, who I also loved. But Little Hunter was like a little staffy guy, and he was black with this little white beauty mark. And you know how sometimes a dog will get like their lip stuck on their tooth? It would do it right on the beauty mark. It was so cute. And his dad moved to somewhere where he wasn't allowed to have pets. And so he actually ended up boarding him for like months because it was $40 a month. Like, it was so cheap.
Wow, so you could board it. I didn't know that. Okay, so it was also a boarding program.
Yeah, daycare, boarding, training, grooming, all of it.
I
And
love
Little
that.
Hunter would go through a rotation between me and 3 other handlers because he was reactive, so not everybody could handle it. And oh my God, I loved this dog. He actually got to sleep like in my bed, in my cell. And he snored so bad. And he would just like little spoon, and I would feel his snores rumble against my chest until one of my cellmates was like, Skook, wake him up. And I would just shift him so he would stop snoring. Like, he was just my little, he was so cool. He was super reactive. And when we were in that cell, our cell window was right above the dog yard, like the fenced in dog yard, which had these little pebbles in it because it was just the easiest thing to keep clean. And there was this one toy, you know, those big giant plastic egg toys that they have for dogs?
Yes. And pea
Whenever,
gravel is what it's called.
yes,
The little
whenever
pebbles, yeah.
anybody put one of those down in the pea gravel, he would lose his shit because of the sound of it being kicked around. And he would start running back and forth in our cell, springboarding off each wall. And we were just like, dude, that's how we feel. Like,
Yeah, that's exactly how we feel. We want to parkour off the walls in here.
just bouncing off the walls.
You
He
had
came back to my memory.
lots and lots and lots and lots of dogs, lots of memories, lots
Hundreds.
of stuff.
Thousands.
Yeah, I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. You've only got a couple left.
Why don't you just run them in order?
I like it. Number 4, do you and your husband ever disagree about your dog or have differences
Yes.
in opinion? Okay.
Yes. And I'm so glad that you asked this because I was thinking about this yesterday. I actually let my husband do his own thing with my dog. He walks Remy every morning, and he knows I do not do on-leash greetings. He does with the dogs around the apartment, and Remy has friends. And I think that's fine because it's not a problem with him. I am the traumatized one that cannot possibly allow my dog to do on-leash greetings because I've always seen it go bad. And it's just something that I don't do. And when I'm out walking Remy, it's for me and Remy. And when he's out walking Remy, he wants to socialize a little bit. And like, he knows who to say hi to and who not. And I trust his discernment. So yeah, we don't agree. And if it was really important to me and I said to him, please, my love, my darling, it's really important to me. Please don't ever do an on-leash greeting with him. He would listen and respect that. But I don't say that. I trust him. And Remy has friends because of it.
I think that's important. It's like you guys may have differences, but if one of you is really bothered by it, you would be respectful. Number 5, what is something that you need a lot of reinforcement on or over or about?
I don't know that I feel
That could
that
be
I
a
need
lot. That could be negative
reinforcement.
reinforcement too. That could be that you need
Yeah.
pressure to
So
perform or you need pressure.
for me, I think it's more actually about routine and structure. That's what actually supports me
So
the most.
management. You need a lot of management.
Yes, exactly. My environment is managed so well to set me up for success with the things
Yes.
that I know that I need to do.
We're antecedent arrangements people.
1,000%. That's been more important to me
Yeah.
than
Same.
reinforcement.
I love that.
Because I feel reinforced by doing things. The act of doing a thing actually is really reinforcing. Like I love checking something off a to-do list. Oh, yes, to check.
Ooh, yeah. I like it when you get something that you didn't know you forgot to put on the list and you do it and then you write it on the list just to check it
And
off.
then you get to check it right off. Yep.
That's a great feeling. Oh my gosh, yes, we're gonna get to I love this question. I always like to know what's going on. So this is the last question. Who is your
Okay.
biggest mentor?
I could not possibly pick one. I would say I have different mentors in different areas.
I like that. I have mentors in different areas too. And you are definitely one of my mentors too in a particular area. But I think it's important for people to know, like, it's okay to have different mentors in different areas. What are people's strengths?
Yeah, you are absolutely a mentor for me.
Is it in
Another big
delusional
one-
self-confidence?
It needs to be.
Oh, I thought it would be either high kicks, delusional
sure.
self-confidence.
Yep.
I guess I could go in on Hype Queen, a little
Mhm,
community
mhm.
build, but
Oh, for
I
sure,
think that we
community.
mentor each other in that area a lot.
Honesty.
Oh, okay. I like that. Thank you. That felt good. So, who else is a mentor to you?
I have a really wonderful mentor I've been working with all year. Started more in the business realm because she certainly does have a foot in the business coaching and business strategy world. But really, at her core, she is a spiritual teacher, and that's what I would consider her. Her name is Lauren of Love. And she is one of the healers also that I've been working with. I know, Jerri, that you know that I've been attending a couple of healing retreats to deeply begin to process or continue to process the trauma that I experienced before and during incarceration. And I would say that the changes that I've made to my spiritual health this year have been the most profound change I've ever felt in my entire life. And that when I say that in the last 3 to 6 months, the changes that I feel are like people have said things to me. My mom said something to me. My husband said something. My mechanic on my car said something to me. Remember 2 years ago when I had to hug you because you were falling apart? Yeah, I do. And so
I also recall that as well.
It was less than 2 years ago. It was even just a year ago. And I just have so much gratitude and love for what she has taught me about myself and about self-healing, because that's really what she specializes in. And I feel very at home in her community and with her medicine.
That's a wonderful feeling. It's a wonderful feeling, and it's a wonderful place to remind people that if they need a community, they can come on over to Dogs Anonymous. They can just hop on over and get some of the things that Mattison was just referring to. You can also hang out here and listen and find some of the other people that are involved in the open-minded approach.
And
'Cause a
Jerri and
lot
I
of
are now
us are-
leading a daytime meeting for Dogs Anonymous.
Yeah.
That is approximately every other Thursday, but you can go to dogsanonymous.org for the updated meeting schedule and meeting links. And the open-minded approach is always open for literally everybody.
Unpacked was created by Jerri Sheriff and Mattison Simpson.
If you are enjoying this podcast, follow or subscribe to be sure you don't miss an episode, and leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform.
Looking for more honest and relatable dog content? Check out our sister podcast, Straight Up Dog Talk. See you next time.